All right. Up and running over here.
Likewise.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Good to see you. Make sure everything's working properly. There we go. Make sure my phone's off. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you. We're just getting started here in a minute. Okay.
All right, just get the link in Discord and then I'll be good to go.
All right.
Welcome on in. Welcome on in.
HD, good to see you.
HD in the building. All right. Good chat right there. All right. I am good to go.
Yep, me too. I'm ready.
Okay. And it is official. All right. Welcome to another episode of The Voices of Vera with myself, Nice Gaming, and Is There No One Else? And of course, you, The Voices of Vera. We really appreciate you guys being here. It's been a long time. It's been like a week. Oh my gosh. How
Can't
have you
believe
guys
it.
been? Welcome on in. We got some fun posts to go through, a lot of things to discuss. We're at that a little bit past that halfway point in the month, which means we're getting towards the next monthly live stream. And we'll probably discuss that again more towards the end of the show. But yeah, we got a couple of topics we want to get into, and appreciate the support. Thank you guys for being here every week. And if you're watching us at a later date, we appreciate you as well.
It feels a little weird, nice. Like it's only two of us this time. Like,
I was just thinking that. Like, we had what is it, 3 or 4 episodes in a row where we had special guests?
I think it was 4. I want to say it was. I think
4.
we've had a month straight of guests over. So yeah, we're back to the
Yes.
duo thing.
Wow. It feels empty in here. It's too much free space.
I know. I feel like I have to talk more now. So this is awful.
We're not getting carried anymore. All right. So first I wanted to discuss what a lot of you, especially watching at a later date, will see in the thumbnail. There is a certain forum post, a certain forum post that I saw. I saw it I think before last episode, but I felt it would be more appropriate to discuss today while it's just us. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up shortly. But first off, how was your weekend?
It was good, man. It was really good. We got pretty busy. But yeah, I'm back to the normal weekly grind. How about yours?
It was good. We was pretty fun. We went to see Dune 2. We saw it in 4D.
Nice.
Really, really fun, really good experience, and it made me really excited for the Dune MMO as I guess as a byproduct, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. I've been waiting for you and Sawman to both like catch up on the Dune series. Like, so I haven't seen the second one yet. We had plans to, and they fell through. We have plans to watch it with my wife's dad, my father-in-law, and just times haven't matched up yet. And like I've wanted to watch it. Well, it's like, no, you said you were going to watch it with him, so you have to wait. And I was like, okay, fine. But I watched the original, the 1980s version or whatever 70s version. I've watched the first one of this, and yeah, like love Dune myself. And so yeah, now you see the vision for the game and like how awesome it could be. So
yeah, it definitely made me even more excited for sure. So chat, today we want to start off with this forum post, and I'll get it visible on your screen here shortly. Bear with me.
Do you have a link for the forum post, or is it just do you want
Yes,
me to just
so it'll be the very last link at the bottom of our Voices of Vera preview.
Oh yeah,
channel.
there it is. Okay, my bad.
Here, I need to get going over here, make sure chat can see it. Oh my gosh, I got my browser zoomed in, but that's probably good for you guys. So here, let me do it this way. Perfect. There you go. Now you guys can see. You need to go back and watch the old one. Yeah, I honestly, because obviously it's going to be a little while before we get Dune 3 here. So I may go back and watch the old ones myself, especially just as a comparison.
I feel like it's not going to be as good for people that haven't seen it. Like for me, it's nostalgia, but but it's kind of dated from a graphics, like a animations perspective. You're going to laugh at a few of the scenes. So
yeah, it's like watching the Star Wars prequels, and then going back and watching the old ones. Yeah.
So like the knife fight, no spoilers, but there's a knife. You know the knife fight in the first movie.
Yeah.
In the 80s version, it looks a little different. That's all I'm gonna say. So.
Okay, maybe I'll pass. I can already see where that's going.
It's good. I would definitely go watch it, but yeah, it's not going to be the exact same.
One of your favorite movies is The Thing. Oh yeah, really old school. Dresh here says, appreciate the Ashes content. Voices of Vera is great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dresh.
All right. So let's start off with this very interesting one. Welcome on in again, everybody. We're going to start off with this article. This is on the forums from forum poster Aiming for Top. This forum title caught me off guard, and I wasn't sure where they were going to go with it. But when I was thinking like, okay, what am I about to read? Because I saw the title, I was like, I'm going to post this in our chat, because what we do, chat, as you may know, like if Ellis posts something, I'll not read it. I'll see the title, obviously. They'll be like, I wonder where that's going. And then that way we kind of get live reactions from each other. With this one, I almost was considering like not spoiling myself, but I was like, nah, it has the word religion. It may be spelled wrong, as Els pointed out to me, but it has the word religion in it. So let me make sure it's, appropriate before we get into it. Hellstalker says, interesting topic. I think they're going too far putting their beliefs into the game. Yes. And I don't want to get a lot of people's opinion on this. So this forum title is titled, please make those religion optional or I sadly can't play the game. Religion, not something you can play. So this person, as you guys know, Ashes of Creation has a lot of, it has some religions that you can choose. This is a part of the system. This is, that's an option your character can take. And this guy does not like that. And we're going to read this forum post here. And then, like I said, we're going to get each other's takes. And yeah, so once again, forum post user Aiming for the Top. So this one says, hi, please make those religion optional or sadly, I can't play the game. Religion's not something you play. If you don't care or it is simple for you, it is serious for me and many people. So apparently a lot of people have this same belief. I am Muslim. How come you want me worship something else? It's not acceptable for me, even if it's a game. They did a similar thing in PUBG, and Muslim players complained about that, and thankfully they removed it. I was not aware of something like that. You can change its name to another thing, not religion, and make me do wrong things, or you can make Muslim a religion that things not conflict with my religion, or you can make religion an optional thing, not affect damage or defense or making money or leveling or gearing that I can play a whole game ignoring that part. Please care about me and us because I sadly won't play this awesome game like that. A lot to unpack there. Hellstalker says, I'm not religious, so I'm speaking from an outsider perspective, but people try to force their beliefs on others in all aspects of life. Yeah. So my take with it is kind of what he kind of said towards the end, because it's my understanding that it is an optional thing. You couldn't just ignore that and get over it. It's a really weird mindset. Yeah, why would Ashes pander to this? Their argument has a few holes in it. Yeah, it's just like, why do you really, are you a gamer? Let me put it this way. It's got to be hard to be a gamer and take this approach to everything because
Yeah.
the word religion is used. That's going to affect your IRL religion. If you play Call of Duty and you shoot a guy, does that not conflict with your religious beliefs? I really don't understand the logic and the approach here. People need to understand how to separate role playing and their character in a video game. I really don't get it. Relation says I'm religious. This guy's just a victim. Yeah, like I think he's thinking way too far into it. I don't know any Muslim bylaws or anything like that, but I would think that that's not really a thing. Like, oh, you can't play video games and then accept. Like, you're not worshiping. No one's asking you to worship. Like, it's your character in a video game. It's a whole nother entity. Like people play games to as an escape method, as to role play as another character. Sometimes you try to do a character creator, you try to make it look like you or be similar to you, and sometimes you choose a freaking lizard that talks, and sometimes you're a male that chooses a female character with great boob physics. I don't know. That's your thing. You're not identifying as that. It's not against your moral beliefs. You're just playing a character in a game. If your character in the game shoots people, you're not going to lose sleep over it. These are games. They're just games. Does anyone remember the Modern Warfare 2 mission, No Russian? Yeah, I didn't feel like I needed to check into a psychiatric ward after I did that mission. Did it very well, actually, you know? Yeah, and Grand Theft Auto is a very good example. How you doing, Uber? Welcome on in.
Yeah,
what's your thoughts, Els?
my perspective on this is I don't ever want to insult anybody's beliefs, religious or otherwise, whether you're agnostic or whether you don't believe in God or whether you do, or how far in how religious you are. So I don't want to cross any line like that or go any in down that path, because yeah, but my perspective is exactly what you said. This is an immersive world, and when you're creating an immersive world with different types of races like Tolnar, and you have bestial creatures, they're obviously going to worship different things, and so religion being in this world is, you should be able to separate that from your real life perspective, in my opinion. And if you can't, that's I don't get it. I don't personally grasp like how you couldn't separate the two. Like, I play other games. I 1vx on games. It doesn't mean I'm a serial killer in real life, like it just, or maybe I'm just saying this to throw the police off. But my perspective is like, I just, you're in a fantasy world, and we play the fantasy world to participate in other ways. And so how far you want to go with that is really up to you. But I don't think religion is something you have to choose in this game. I think that's just part of your potential augments, correct? Or not?
Yeah, someone actually not too many comments down commented saying players may choose not to follow a religion.
Yeah.
If you want to abstain from the religion progression path, you may do so. It's not going to hurt you, I guess, because a lot of these augments are side grades. But
yeah.
I think you'd be missing on a lot of what the game has to offer, per Jeffrey.
Okay.
So it's a horizontal progression, per Steven, too. And Hellstalker says, we all obviously agree with each other. I don't see anyone siding with the post. I didn't scroll through all the comments, but I would imagine not one. Okay, maybe one other person in the world, but I can't imagine too many people are agreeing with this guy, right? Imagine playing D&D with this guy. Like, what? I don't know. It's a weird thing to even ask or bring up, in my opinion. But yeah. So next I wanted to kind of go over I guess we can kind of go in order. We got some really
Sure.
old ones in here.
Yeah,
Um
we had a lot of great guests, so we haven't been able to cover a bunch of stuff because we had fun
yes.
conversations.
Here, let's take a look at this the image from community member Virus. Here we go. So we were having a discussion about, and this was in the AOC Discord. We were having a discussion about open development and stuff like that. And I apologize, you guys. This screenshot is from February, so I don't remember the exact context other than that. But I said something like, "Yeah, but isn't that game playable by the public?" Oh, Star Citizen. We were talking about Star Citizen, ironically. I think this is when Sawman was playing Star Citizen, and so it was like fresh on my mind.
Sure.
And I was talking about open development and stuff like that. And then Virus responded. He said, "I mean, the open development part. They release monthly newsletters. Talk about Star Citizen. Monthly newsletters detailing what focus area is being worked on. I know Star Citizen have been massively memed on, but honestly, their development is way more open than AOC." AOC chooses what to show only when things are in a good state to show, in my opinion, he says. They never really talk about what they are currently working on unless it's in a decently good state to show. I'm gonna say that again. They never really talk about what they are currently working on unless it's in a good state to show.
Sure.
And I thought this was a very interesting take and perspective because it made me think like how truly open is Intrepid's open development process. Um because that part where he said they only show when things are in a good state to show, in my opinion. And obviously we've had the conversation before, some things need to be a surprise come Alpha 2. You don't want to reveal everything. Holy crap, Ash's relation said hot topic, New World is racist. Okay, can we add that one to the someone grab that screenshot and let's add that to the schedule, the itinerary for today. um
Jesus. Oh, wait,
but
sorry,
yeah, like
wrong word. Sorry.
the timing. um So it had me thinking, like, how do you guys feel that? I think we all feel that Ashes of Creation has the most open development process of an MMO. I think most of us will agree that with that. But would you guys like to see a more open development process? Like, do you feel like there's still a lot hidden that you don't want hidden? Do you feel like they, don't show enough sometimes, or et cetera, et cetera? We was talking about this in Discord the other
Yeah.
day. I was saying like I love, so if you guys didn't see, and maybe we find time to bring it up during the stream, Ashes of Creation on a YouTube short and on their Twitter page posted the resurrection animation.
Yeah.
Now they showed this during the commission stream, but it got blocked by a dialogue box, which was annoying timing. But they showed it in all of its glory, and it's changed a lot. And what that where was I going with that? So basically, oh yeah. So basically, I want to see more things like that. Like not have to wait a full month until we see something. Like get little teases like that, because their current schedule is like, okay, you wait a whole month until you see anything. Maybe you pray that Steven jumps in chat. Maybe he drops a little sneak peek. Oh, here's where we're at with Bard. Here's where we're at with Summoner. Or hey, just so you guys know, we're doing this month. I think it'll be good to show things that we haven't seen. It don't got to be a full-fledged thing, but it's just like show us something like that little bit right there. Like, oh, okay, just a little teaser. I remember they did the Tower of Carfin teaser before the stream. I remember when we got the trailer for the launcher. How that the launcher got an update and then there was like a little trailer inside of it. Little things like that I think can go a long way, especially when we go through those long phases of communication where Steven doesn't randomly drop by the Discord with little leaks or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought like how truly open is the development? I think it's open. I think it is. Could it be more open? Yes, but at the same time, they're a company. And just a little off tangent here, I do think that maybe Ashes of Creation wants to keep some things under wrap because of their competition, and they don't know when they're going to be able to release. So that could be another perspective. But yeah, what do you think? How do you feel Ashes of Creation is open development? And if so, is it open enough or what?
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation because you, me, and Sawman have talked about this. I've seen a Cap talk about it in the Discord. I was integrating this into my video that I just threw away this weekend as well. Because Nico, we'll talk about this in a little bit also. But when Nico brought up his video, he was like, "Yeah," he brought up the point of going into the node, and I do think, and this all kind of intertwines. Is my point. It's all the same point as they're like everything that they show is scripted. It's a scripted point of view where they show a specific thing, and I do think that's by design for a few reasons. Number one, it feels like, from my perspective, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right on this or anything, but it feels like to me when they have a live stream, they have something that they want to show the community, and then they also want feedback on it. And so they say, hey, like, this is where we're at. We're really far. We really like what we're at, but we want to make sure that this is good with the community before we go any further on to the next step. And so they have something very specific. It's the same conversation you and I had nice back in November about the caravan live stream, where they showed how the caravan functions, and we're like, hey, where's the PvP? Where's the PvP? Yeah. And they're like, we didn't want to show PvP because if we did, it would have taken from what the actual live stream was about. And so like ever since that conversation happened, it's like, okay, they didn't show the node. Like, I'm not saying that there's a very good chance that the node might not have been ready in February. So I'm not saying that doesn't exist. But even if it did work, they're not going to show the node leveling up because it takes away from the entire commission live stream, showing what the commissions are. And so and from scripted versus unscripted, I really see both points of view. I really understand why people want to see people out and adventuring in the world, but at the same time, they tried that last year also with the tank live stream, and that was the worst live stream. Like, that was the most negative reviewed one that I have seen, to a point to where they had to re-record it because they didn't cover what they were supposed to cover. And so from my perspective is like, hey, like, if you could do more like adventuring out in the world types of things, I get it. Like, that'd be cool. But the fact that like that one was received so negatively, I think that's why they do these more scripted piecemeal points of view. And so, I think they do that also so that they get very specific feedback on what they're trying to do. And so I do think it's open development. I do think that they're very open with what they're showing, but it's also scripted for a good reason, because when it wasn't, it went over not so good. So
very well put. Very well put. Catching up with the voices of Vera here. Hellstalker says, I want a lot hidden. I want to be able to explore and find stuff. Very true. Dress says, having things held back from players and leaving the surprise value is just fine. Agreed. Noah says, having extra little pieces of progress would be amazing, but there's a line somewhere they shouldn't curtain things. I could definitely see that. And sometimes it's hard for us as the viewers to wonder, like, okay, is this just not ready? Does it not exist? Did they even start working on augments? Or is that one of those things they're saving? Or is that, like, you know, maybe if they showed that during a fighter showcase, what if they showed just a touch of augments in the fighter showcase? Would the conversation not be, and the discussions not really be around the fighter and the fighter's kit? And would we be too distracted by seeing our first look at augments? You know, these are things that Intrepid are, you know, it seems that seems to be their thought process as well. And Els said it very well, where, you know, that was one of the times I think both me and Els was like, you know what? Okay, I get that point, because we didn't see the PvP during a caravan showcase. And I'm like, because I remember being like, surely they don't show caravans without showing that it's PvX and PvP. And then they actually did that. They did not show PvP.
That was our main point of view. And I remember doing that live stream, and we're like, how are you not showing PvP during a PvP based event? Like, this is not a good sign,
bro. I had a video ready in the oven. I was gonna cook Steven. I was like, bro, because you remember me saying, I was like, man, if they show a caravan stream without showing the PvP, because remember, we had not seen PvP in a very long time. Matter of fact, since probably UE5. So I was like, no, bro, they better show PvP finally. They better show PvP finally. And I was like, and after the showcase, I liked the showcase a lot. But after the showcase, I was like, man, I got to discuss this in a video. And then Steven came in Discord and he said that great point, which I was like, okay, you know what? That's a fair perspective. That makes sense. He said it will distract from the actual caravan showcase and the feedback that they wanted at the time. Because we really would have been like, I don't want to say that term, but distracted brain.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, fair perspective. Steven said augments later in Alpha 2. Oh.
Okay.
What do you say that? I didn't see that.
Yeah, please link that to us. That'd be great because
Yes,
I
please, Faith.
augments are something that I'm most excited about. So, and if they're
Tangent
gonna
says,
go ahead,
"Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry."
I was gonna say if they're gonna discuss augments in Alpha 2, like quote unquote relatively soon, that means most of the archetypes are done. I would think.
Yes.
So,
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's their direction. Like, okay, let's go ahead and test the base kits. Let's not
yep.
have the players distracted by augments and stuff. Let's make sure this core base thing is balanced. And like 2 months in, we'll introduce augments. Thank you, Fades. And Tangent says, driving and listen to the voices of Air. Thank you, Tangent. Really appreciate that. Relation says they'd hit the right balance if Steven were to come on Voices of Vera and Bespoke. Yes, we got to get him. We got to get him on. We got to get him on.
I got a
Okay.
comment from Jingly here. Really well said, by the way, Jingly Jones. I'm gonna say your whole name because just Jingly's a little. They're saving us from ourselves. Every one of those devs will be very familiar with the typical open dev processes, which generally fall under Agile. They include regular showcases, yes, but every one of them revolves around stakeholder input, features, priorities. I'm very glad they're not doing this. They have the vision. They have earned trust. They have earned trust is a very good point. Yes, I would say so as well.
Said.
Yeah, that's very well said.
I like that. I like that. And that's fair. That's very fair. This is not like when the current MMOs that we play when something messes up or something like that. They got some track record.
They
like,
go dark.
These guys again. Like, yeah, exactly. They go dark and yeah. Someone said he's driving and listening. I'm doing homework and listening. Dress says scripted gives them the right outward impressions. I think I've read that, but yeah. Trenchfoot says, I'm hoping the focus is on open world exploration, dungeons, world PvP, and more than one battleground at release. Yeah. Let's not end up with the New World situation, huh? Where they still, to this day, have one OPR map.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit also. Good reference.
Oh,
so,
man.
I suppose we could segue into that.
Yeah. So, let's talk content and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to have this segue. So nice, I'm going to be honest with you. You did your react to Nico last week, and if you guys want to do watch the full react, feel free to. I'll be honest with you, nice. I didn't watch it because I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk about it on this live stream. But without going into details, what was your overall perspective on that? Because I wanted to tie that into talking a little bit about where New World is at.
Oh, yeah. So my reaction is, I'll like to start off and say this first. I do think people were too hard on him. I do think people were just a little too hard on him. Were some takes outrageous or, whatever? Yes, but I think people were too hard. I think that he did bring up some interesting points, and the reason I liked his perspectives, and notice, I'm not saying agree. I'm saying I liked his perspectives because it gave me a look to someone that's not following AOC every day. Someone that's not like he probably follows it, but probably not as obsessively as us. And so I really liked hearing the perspective, and his mindset was more like, hey, you need to show us something because we don't see nothing. Like, this game's been in development for XYZ, and this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good, blah, blah, blah. While I disagreed with a lot of his takes, I liked the questions and the topics that he posed. And there was a lot during that react stream that I think was good conversation. I know a lot of people didn't like some of the things he said, but overall, while I don't agree with his I guess the whole thesis of his video, I think it was very important to get a different perspective. And there was a couple things I can't remember off the top of my head. There was a couple things I was like, you know what, he has a point, chat. He has a point there. That wasn't a majority of the video, but there was a couple things I was like, you know what, it's nothing wrong with feeling this way, or there's nothing wrong with asking this question. And so it reminded me once again that how someone from maybe outside our core community could have a different perspective. So that's a decent summary, I would say.
That's a great point. And yeah, I didn't watch it because I wasn't sure how you're going to react to it. And I told Dice about this, chat, but I was going to do a video on the overarching point of burnout, because he brought up some good points where he was very interested and now he's kind of burnt out. And so I did kind of what you did when I listened to his video. I tried to put myself in a situation and go, okay, how would I get to his point of view if I were him? right?
Yes.
Like, so what would I do? Like, where would I have to be? And what I came to the perspective on, and I'm not saying this is right. I don't want to put words in this guy's mouth or anything like that. My personal perspective is I think he has a timetable on when he thought Ashes of Creation was going to release. And so he was like, hey, like this game is like 5 years in development. It's going to come out in like 8-9 years total of development. And so now that we're in year 7, he's like, hey, there's no way they're going to get this done in a year or two. And so from my perspective was like, hey, if I know what I know where Ashes is now with what they've shown us, and hypothetically, like they came out and they said, hey, we're going to have a release for Ashes of Creation in January of 2025, I would find myself doing a very similar video to what he's doing. Like, you really expect to have augments, nodes, and all this stuff released in a year when it's taken you this long to get to this point? Like, that's unrealistic. And so that's where like my mind jumped to, was like, man, he must like have this timetable in his head of where the game is releasing. And because of them not meeting his expectations, he's now reaching burnout, which isn't the first time we've seen this. We've seen content creators experience the exact same thing in the past. And so I was seeing this and I was like, I don't share the same thing. Like, you and I have talked about it as far as like expectations go. I don't expect this game to come out for years. I think they're really far away. I think we're going to have a very long Alpha 2 process. And so, and so I don't see the same thing. Like the analogy I was going to use in the video, I'm not going to do anymore. It's like, you know, when you're building a shed, right? Like you're erecting walls and you're putting up the roof and everything. They have like the foundation and like a couple of like, they have like the frame up. There's so much more to do. And so I'm not going to be mad personally at Intrepid for not having all these things done, because they're just not there yet. Yeah. They're not at that point in the project. And so, and it needs to be this way. Like this is a very ambitious project, and it is awesome that it's ambitious. And I'm willing to wait for it to release properly, because this is the long segue. We're seeing what's happening with New World right now, where they have no content right now. And they're losing their entire player base. And I could be wrong, but it seems to me like what New World decided to do is they're like, hey, we're releasing on console. We're going to get everything right for the console release. So you see them doing the main story quest line, redo it, like they just finished it, and they're redoing all their beginner stuff and introducing stuff for a potential console release, because they're like, we lost these players. If we're going to bring in console players, we got to get this right.
People who aren't scarred.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just, as if you're not a New World player, I totally get it. But as a player that has played New World and like sees a lot of good things with that game, but they're struggling with retention because there's not enough things to do, and the main story quest line isn't good. You want to make sure, like, when this game comes out, it comes out fully cooked and prepared. And so I'm willing to wait, like, however long it takes. I'll play other games. I want this game to come out correctly, whatever they get it done correctly. So
something to really note, and something I don't think he fully, like, I know he knew it, but I think his perspective was lost on this. And you kind of touched on it yourself, where Alpha 2 is not launch.
Yeah,
they don't have to have all this done in 6 months.
Yeah,
they don't need to have augments, naval, the classes that we haven't seen. They don't need to have all this done in the next 6 months. Alpha 2 is going to be a very long Alpha 2. There is so much to do. There is so much that's going to get done, and Intrepid has shown us that they're capable of making quick and big changes even during Alpha 1. I think we're going to see I think we have enough time to get this done. Yes, the project has taken a while in some people's eyes, but look at the progress they've shown in just the last year. Yes, there's still things to complain about when you see them during this monthly showcase, but you don't think like a lot of that's going to be solved in 6 months? You don't think a lot of that's going to be introduced? And guess what? The stuff that you're wanting to be solved in 6 months, if it's not, well, it's a scam. Move on to another game. No, it's a long opportunity, so it'll get added, you know, at some point. So I think we got to like not overthink it, not overpressure it. Remember the timetable that we're working with. We just want Alpha 2 to be playable. We want to have some content there. We want to be able to test. We just need something to be able to provide feedback. Don't look at this as beta. Don't look at this and I know I throw around the early access term, but don't look at it as early access, at least especially at the beginning of Alpha 2, right? So I don't know. That's my take. I agree with what you said, and I think and I wanted to actually touch on burnout.
Yeah.
Burnout is real. And it's crazy that I'm seeing more burnout from people in the community or maybe content creators. Now that we're in that home stretch, we're in that final home run, and then this is where you burn out.
Yeah.
Like I remember us guessing 2 years ago, like, oh, it's coming out this January, and then it was this January. And
Yeah. Yep.
it's just like now that you have a quarter, that's where you're just gonna start being a Debbie Downer. All right, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that, buddy. Now that we're this close, now you're gonna you know, now you're gonna like get all
Yeah.
mopey and like, oh, I can't stand this. Oh, this is taking too long. Like, bro, you don't. Some of these guys are in PI or Kickstarter. Some people you've been monitoring this game. I don't care if it's been for 4 years. Really, you've been obsessively going in this Discord of a game that's not actually out yet. And really, 6 more months is gonna kill you. That's your limit.
Yeah.
Really? Come on.
Well, and it's funny because it's okay. So we get this perspective a lot, guys. We're peeking behind.
Sorry, the Golden Feather Tavern is raiding with the party of 23. Hello,
Let's
guys.
go.
Welcome on in.
Welcome.
We are talking about burnout, reactions to Nico's previous video. Pretty much trying to reiterate the point that, you know, Intrepid doesn't have to have things ready 6 months from now. Everything doesn't need to be there. We don't need to see every system. We don't need to see Tolnar. We don't need to see naval content. So the mindset of this all has to be fixed within 6 months, you know, isn't true. Like,
yeah,
Alpha 2 is going to be a very long period, and we're just talking about that right now. So I appreciate that. And we have a lot of chat, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, Ellis. I'll be right back with you.
You're good.
Ashes of Relation said something here. He said, views are hard to come by right now. Takes the win out of some people's sales. I think that's probably something we can circle back to. But yes, I think that's a lot of it. But yeah, we'll catch up with the voices of Vera here in a second. Else, as you were, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I wanted to do like a peek behind the curtain because people have talked to me, and I'm sure they've talked to you, Nice. They're like, hey, you should be a little bit harder on Ashes every once in a while about things. And it's like, yeah, we are. And they're like, yeah, but you're not berating, you're not grilling them on this or this. And, you know, the analogy that I talked about earlier about, you know, building a shed, right? Like, they haven't gotten to the roof yet. And people are like, you need to point out that it's not going to protect, like, you need to point out that the naval content isn't done. It's like, yeah, but that's low hanging fruit. We're not there yet. Like, I'm not going to critique them not being at a certain point in the process when they're not at a certain point in the process. Like, we could talk about different graphics, and we have on this podcast of things that they've shown. We've talked about the character creator facial animations and why they're not the same as like the character creator from a year ago. We talk about like things as the actionable, adjustable things that exist in the game, in my opinion. And so I think that's important. And so just like, yes, it's true, we haven't gotten to naval content, but okay, like what are we supposed to do that we have to wait for them to do it? And so
what do y'all want us to do? Make a video? Naval content's not here. Game's a scam. What is you doing, Steven?
Yeah, naval content's not here. Okay,
let me post for the thumbnail for the YouTube video about naval content. Hold on, get ready. Hold on.
Finger over your mouth. Yeah.
No naval content?
Yeah, that's my perspective. Like,
scam.
I'll ask you this, Nice. Your most ambitious date for release. What date is that? How far out do you think we are? Most ambitious.
Best case, late 26.
Okay.
I think mid to late 26. Yeah.
Okay, so you're thinking 2.5 years is the most ambitious, roughly.
Let's see, it's 24. Yeah, I'd say 2 years.
Okay, yeah, I'm close to the same. I think I'm at 3 years. The most ambitious, they hire more developers, they get all the processes down, and then they extrapolate, and they're able to iterate more quickly. We have a bunch of testing, and so they're able to improve. Yeah, 3 years is like my most optimistic, and so it's like, we have 3 years of development. I'm not going to get upset about like, oh, this tree shading is too dark. Like
DOA.
You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand. Like, you see
Back to New World. It's shading's crap.
The shading's crap. This game's garbage. But like, I just don't understand. Like, we went from the January live stream, which is the PvP one, and everybody loved it. And then they announced commissions, and I know you guys saw it. If you're in Discord, if you're on the forums, I know you saw it. They announced commissions, and people go, "Hey, is Alpha 2 going to release on time?" And it was just like, you went from like everybody hyped in January to like 2 weeks later, people were wondering if Alpha 2 was going to release on time.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
That's crazy.
Fair, I'm on their side with that, else.
Oh my goodness.
They did not market. I'm sorry. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. They did not market that stream well. They did not. By calling it the commission stream, they did not do it any justice. In my opinion, I don't know what they should have called it. I'm not, chat, you let me know what they should have called it. But saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a stream about commissions, that did not do this amazing stream that's playing in the background here any justice, in my opinion. But,
I don't know.
But to be fair, I'm not saying they should have been that gloomy. That's not what I'm saying though. But so yes, you're right. But I don't know. You're right. But I almost get it. Not to the overreaction that they were at. But yeah. People were too gloomy. Like, oh fuck, it's delayed.
we went from Poggersville, greatest live stream of like 2.5 years, to, oh my god, the world is crashing from an announcement. Like, I'm not saying like if the live stream happened and if the live stream happened and like it wasn't very good, that's one thing, but we didn't even get to that point. It was just like people immediate meltdown. Like, oh my god, are we going to have Alpha 2 in Q3? Are we going to get a Q4 announcement? Is this game going to exist? And it's like, I'm not saying like everybody's entitled to their own emotional belief system, and like if you want to ride that roller coaster, go ahead. I can't do it. I just can't get that up or that down over one live stream. I'm like, we're so, from my perspective, we're so far away. And so if you're going to get that high or that low with something that, from my perspective, is realistically at the earliest 3 years away, I can't do it. Like, that's just my perspective. And so I'm not telling anybody that they're wrong or anything like that. It's just something that I notice, where people are like, live stream of the year, everything's great. Now everything sucks. It's like, yes, I don't get it.
Chat, I just wanted to point out again, because I pointed out during my live react to the commission stream, the water at this part where he's looking at the Minotaurs, the rain falling on the little, you wouldn't call it a creek. It's just like a little, maybe a river, you can call it. It is the Riverland, so maybe you'll call it a river. That looks so freaking good. The lighting reflecting off of it, the raindrops hitting, it just looks so glorious. That distracted me. So I'm like 10 minutes plus behind on chat.
Sure,
I have read all you guys, so I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna just skim through, pick a couple. This is back during the Nico conversation that we were discussing. Gers had a good comment here. He says, I think Nico's take is just too early, especially when the game is set to come out in more or less 6 months. It is just a little more wait, and if that's a big if, they don't put it out for any excuse or anything, we will just bash them out so much that probably players will go to Intrepid office and do some sort of parade. Well, I think, and that's the thing, and I guess we kind of already with torches, yeah. Like I think we all understand that we're not gonna have everything at the launch of Alpha 2. We're just gonna get the base of it. Like we're gonna just establish like just that base, that floor, like with Elsa's shed analogy. You know, we're just gonna establish the floor, and then we're gonna work on the roof and all these extra features. We're not seeing that the New World was dead to you moments after launch. Poor New World, man. It made a little. I saw someone say it in chat. It did make a little comeback there. I think it was season 3, something like that. I was having so much fun.
Yeah.
Like it was.
I want to
so
go back.
Fun and yeah, it's like. I just hope they can turn it around. I'll probably check out the next season, you guys, but I don't know, man. I think there's something I'm trying to save for a video, but I got a really interesting take on New World and a proposal for them. But yeah, the New World PTSD drama, and that's the thing. New World is so bad. Can't swim. New World is so bad, and the players. I talked about this in my New World review actually last year. I think the player base, anyone that touched New World at launch, will never enjoy it. I know that's like a little hyperbolic, but if you played that game at launch, it looked horrible. Me and Els didn't do that. We came in a little bit later. They fixed up a little things. But I think if you play, there's no coming back from that, right? There's just no coming back for it. It's just like, why give it the time of day? They wasted your time. Why would you go back and give it back to them?
I
With
I
no
would
end game loop still, yes.
I would say Final Fantasy showed that a lot of people could come back if they make some drastic overhauls. And I think that might be where they're at right now, where they realize that there's no quick fix. There's no
Fun
quick.
fact,
Go ahead.
that's the take I'm talking about.
Oh,
That's where I
sorry.
was going with that.
Yeah, there's literally no quick fix for what they got to do. They got to overhaul
Yes.
everything, and I think that's what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing. I think that's what they're doing for the console release. They're just like, we need to unfuck this stuff right now because if
Need
we
to
do,
rename it.
yeah. if we have a console release and our retention is the way it currently is, we're going to be stuck in the exact same spot we are in a year. Where we're going to be at the exact same spot. Like the combat, in my opinion, for New World is fun. I really enjoy the combat. I enjoy playing OPRs. I enjoy playing arenas. You need more OPRs and arenas. You need more open world PvP content. You need more dungeon and trial content. They don't have enough. And so you see, and I did the review last year as well on New World, and my point of view was it's a great game for the first 400 to 800 hours, maybe 1,000 hours, but veteran content, like you're going to have a hard time with retention because there's just not enough stuff to do. You're going to get bored. But yeah, and lo and behold, all these veteran players are leaving because they're like, there's nothing to do. There's just nothing to do anymore. And so, I think that's where they're at. I think they're just like, you know what? We're going to pull a plug on this right now, and we're going to get everything right for, console release.
Yep. That's crazy. Pocket says, when we were talking about naval content, like OMG, they didn't release the naval content. Pocket says, I did a post in the forums about naval, but it was fully around how I want them to understand where the Sea of Thieves is king and where Skull and Bones fell short in the skill level play. See, that topic of discussion is more than fine. I think like saying, hey, here's how we should do the naval system, or here's my thoughts based off what we currently know about the naval system. All that's fine. I don't think no one's against that, especially on a forum post, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in contrast to his, it's like, you're going to get us, this isn't out yet. It's two different approaches. So yeah, I definitely feel that, Pockets. Yeah, where we want to go with the system. The stream naming has been iffy on more occasions though, says Roka. Yeah, the commission streams was fire, diverse world generated quest. Yeah, I could see that being a name. But yeah, I think that was a lot of it. They didn't properly market it. Like they did not do it justice. I think that's the best way we can say it. They just didn't. The title didn't do the actual planned stream justice.
Hey, some of us were believers from day one. I'm just kidding. No,
you can't convince me anybody was excited about commissions.
I sincerely was excited about commissions before I heard that it wasn't mayoral commissions. So when I thought it was mayoral commissions, I was very, very excited about it. And then when I heard it was generated commissions, I was like, okay, I'm not excited about it. Let's just hope it's not New World's commissions and like it's better.
Yes.
That was my low hanging fruit. Viral over here said, with respect to the live stream's title, he said under promise, overachieve, which I agree. Like I'd rather have the title be more generic and then they overachieve what the title is than vice versa. So I agree with that.
That's very fair. Chat, how much of the stream was actually commissions? Do you guys remember? I think he was standing in town for maybe, let's give it 5 minutes. How long was it? Because did he ever even complete that commission during stream? Like, did he like go do what he set out to do and then come delivered it? Yeah, that's right. We never see him turn it in. 20% at most. Fox says it's because New World needs to go free to play and implement like 6 battle passes a year for $20 and 2 expansions every year, and also go pay to win. Just get what they can out of it before they move on to the Lord of the Ring MMO, I guess.
Yeah, I don't hate New World. I was asked about it when I was streaming on Sunday. They're like, "Are you going to go back?" And I was like, I don't have anything against New World. They're just at a point where it's they have the season pass set up, and if you don't want to play the season, you play something else. Like that's how I look at it. Like, okay, I've played their content that they currently have. They don't have any new content to keep me around. I'll wait until they have that. And it's disappointing. I'd love to play more, but yeah, they've dug themselves this hole. And like this is the perspective with Ashes where I'm like, you take as much time as you need. Like obviously, I want to play Ashes of Creation tomorrow. But however long it takes, if you have to delay this game by a year to make sure it comes out right, it's better if it comes out correctly than if it comes out rushed. We have a very real experience thing that a lot of players have played that this is what happens, and so let's not do that again.
Well said. I guess let's move on to the next topic. I see I got one in there called AOC Direction Cheesy. I'm gonna skip that one.
Galwood here,
Um,
while you're searching for that, Galwood says he did 2 commissions. You don't need to turn in commissions by running back to the NPC. You do need to turn in side quests, though.
oh. So wait, he said you need to. So the commissions
You don't need to
don't
turn
have
in.
to go back to town.
Yes,
Interesting. I didn't even notice that.
I didn't notice that either.
I'm trying to click this link that you posted, but it's not letting me in weirdly.
Which one?
It says this may be a bit of a hot take. And it's just not pulling up. I don't know if that means the post was deleted.
Oh no.
I think it was deleted.
It was so funny. Oh, I'll see if I can find it. Okay.
Some of these, if it's too hot of a take or too crazy, we got to start like screen recording them or something.
Yeah, so this guy made another post about his original post, and so he like bumped it, so maybe that's why it got deleted. And it was just one of those like, you know how like we did an entire podcast off of one guy's like ridiculous opinion.
Oh yeah.
It was like venturing down that path, and I was like, this is gonna be really fun. And yeah, I'll find that for next week. Let's move on.
Let's move on to the meme that you have here.
Okay, the Reddit one?
Yeah. So this meme says games should take much longer to make. Even if it means waiting 7 or 8 years, it's better to do that and get a masterpiece than get a crappy, soulless cash grab.
That's funny that we were just talking about this.
Yeah, like I think we can all agree the state of the game, not just MMOs, just the gaming industry overall is just like there's so many ups and downs. For every Power World, you have a Lord of the Rings golem. You know, for every success of Helldivers 2, you have what's another crappy one that came out recently?
Battlefield. Let's shit on Battlefield for a bit.
The Battlefront.
Sorry.
Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh yeah, my god, I'm so mad about that.
There's just so many ups. Starfield. Dang, 2 people said Starfield that quick.
Starfield's a good game, guys. Okay.
I thought that game was gonna be so good, man. I remember just looking up games. I did a random bonus stream one day. I was like, let's just react to like all upcoming games in I think it was in 2023, and that came out. I was like, dude, I haven't played a single player game in a while. This looks like Fallout on steroids, like single player. Like it just looked really good.
Yeah, I've told Nice this, but when I was dating my wife, we used to play Battlefront. Like we would play together. So we would do the dual screen, and so she'd be one side and I'd be the other, and we would have our armies and we'd be the specialized characters. And we'd play Battlefront against each other. And it was like when I saw that they were remaking Battlefront, I was super excited. I mean, I know I told you about this, Nice, but Sawman and I were planning on buying it. I was going to play with him. I was looking forward to it, and it was garbage. Like, and so I saw some post on Twitter. They're like, how did you make a 3 gigabyte game, 70 gigs or 45 gigs or whatever it was, and it doesn't work? And I was like, oh my god, like it's just garbage. It released completely terrible. And I was so disappointed about it. Like I subconsciously ended up buying Helldivers because I wanted a shooter. Like I wanted like a PvE style shooter like Battlefront was, and yeah, thank God Helldivers exists because it's filling that need that I wanted to play to just like shoot some shit up. So yeah, it's really disappointing.
So Hellstalker says, I agree, but there's some people that don't know how long games take. People expected Ashes to be finished 2 to 3 years ago in MMO. Yeah, that's like insane that people don't understand the amount of content needed and like manpower, especially staffing for the most part.
Yeah.
Welcome on in, Phantom, Flanker, Squirrel, everyone that I missed. Appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah.
So Noah says, do you think the death penalty XP loss and flag system are going to deter many players from engaging in the PvP?
We'll see.
I think there will be, and no offense to this guy, but I think we will get lucky ghosted at least a couple more times. in the sense that people will tell you the scary thing, but not paint the whole picture of the flagging system. I do think even if you explain the corruption system, there is still going to be some people that don't like that it's even an option or a system that they have to subject themselves to, despite the penalties to the person that would be their quote killer or their PKer. I still think that's, just the fact that they can't choose when and where that that happens to them. I think it will. I think for a lot of people this game will be skipped over just simply because of that.
I think Intrepid's going to have their finger on the pulse for the XP debt, whether XP debt for combat, XP debt for corruption, and I think it's a scale, right? It's a sliding scale that they're going to be able to have, and it's the same thing that we talked about with caravans, the same thing we talked about with corruption. I think a lot of that will be tweaked come Alpha 2. If it becomes too much of a deterrent for PvP from what they want, they're going to adjust it, and the other way around. Like if it's too kill happy, they're going to slide the scale in the other direction. I think they're just I think that's going to be one of those feedback from the community perspectives where they're going to really dial that in Alpha 2 and in the betas. But right now I have no idea. It could be. That's when it comes to those, my perspective is always like, it could be, absolutely. Yeah. But I think they'll adjust it. So
you remember how I just read that comment where Hellstalker was like, people expected Ashes to be finished 2 to 3 years ago in MMO. So Never said even Steven thought Ashes would have released in 2020. Then he got a little wiser, and Phantom said the same thing. Steven expected it to be finished 2 to 3 years ago. So I guess that's a perspective, or rather some information I don't really take into account sometimes when I'm looking at people getting burnt out on Ashes or people complain that the game's taking so long. I often forget that at one point Intrepid didn't always have their timelines nailed down.
Yeah.
There's a funny meme. Actually, if someone still has it handy, if you want to DM me that on Discord, then type in chat when you do DM it to me on Discord. You know that old timeline where they say in the image, I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. It has like the battle royale here. Then they expect this in 2019, and then it had that timeline, and then full release was like I don't remember. I want to say 2020, 2021. It had something like that. You guys know that original that timetable that they had? So if someone could send me that image, but yeah, anyways, I think that's something that I often forget is that these PI members, these people that's been following the game for 5 years, a lot of that is on Steven making that mistake of not realizing how difficult it was to make an MMO.
Yeah.
So that's a fair perspective I need to start factoring in.
Yeah, that's a good point too. My perspective when I looked at it is like, ESO took 7 years. I want to say Guild Wars 2 took 7 years. I know World of Warcraft 20 plus years ago took only 5 years, but a lot of MMOs take anywhere from like 5 to 8 years, depending on what they release. And when you look at a lot of the bigger MMOs when they released, my perspective is Intrepid's goal with this game is more ambitious than a lot of those games with what they want to complete content-wise. And they also just have less developers. Like they just hit 200, which is great, but like some of these development teams have 300, 400, 500, 1,000 developers. And so it's like, okay, it's a more ambitious project with less developers. It's going to take more time. Like this is just, I don't know how much time that is. I don't like, they're great at what they do, but it's just going to take more time. And so that's where I come from it.
It's interesting that these huge name brand household name developers get all that staffing and still end up producing a bad product or a disappointing product. Diablo 4 bad. And it's crazy that Intrepid is looking to promise us something better with less staff but a good vision. Diablo 4 bad.
Yeah, I want more of a game like Baldur's Gate, Helldivers, Palworld, something that's more completed than Starfield. Like there's a reason a lot of these big AAA gaming studios are it's sad, but there's a reason like a lot of developers are losing their jobs. It's because they were releasing too shitty of projects and they weren't making enough money, and so then their costs had to go down, and it sucks.
It's actually weird that indie devs have been winning and AAA games have not. Diablo 4 bad.
Yeah. And I'd love for these games to be good. I would, but they're just not. When was the last good AAA game?
Oh, that didn't disappoint.
that didn't disappoint.
How did people feel? I think people like that Harry Potter game.
Yeah,
It
I
had
suppose.
controversy around it, but I think people like it wasn't one that people kept replaying. Oh, you know what? I know the Star Wars franchise is cursed with everything gaming, but they are doing that Jedi Fallen Order, I think they're called, Fallen Survivor, whatever it's called. Those have been all right. That was like mid last year, maybe. I don't know. But there's not a lot that come to my mind like recently. Uh, Gollum. I'm weak. So Flanker here says, from what I saw so far about AOC, in order to make a good game, you need to listen to people and ignore like 85% of what they say. But listen to them. I like that. The tiering PvP, no. The tiering PK, yes. Yep, I like it. I like it. Let's see. Yeah, with the split motion combat, Steven will fix it. Yep, they show that they can correct things quick. Dr. Gakenstad says, "What's Relgion?" Hey, that's how he spelled it in his forum post, man. We talked about that at the beginning of the stream. People might skip this game if it's not for them, but for those of us who the game is for, no. PvP will be prevalent. PKing won't, though. Yeah, I'm a firm believer that PKing is going to be something that's actually seldom, especially if they got the numbers right.
Yep.
Which is the purpose of testing, of course.
I think it should be a choice, and a choice with consequences. And
yes.
And as long as they have that, like we've talked about this a lot. I don't want to keep going into it too far, but 2/3 of the map's water. I really think that they're going to look at it and they're going to go, hey, people that want to kill anybody and everybody without consequences can do it on the open sea. And they're like,
insane.
And I think they're gonna say, hey, we have this. If you want to go kill people to your heart's content, go be a freaking pirate. Get out of here. And I sincerely believe that corruption is going to be very strict, but it's going to be there for the annoying people or people you just really want to kill for whatever reason. And so, yeah, with consequences.
Phantom X says, Intrepid has made 3 games at this point, but I will patiently wait for the finished product for sure. 7 years. Glad I can catch y'all live for once. I saw the thumbnail and laughed. One of the big draws for me in this game will be the religion and end-game rewards for slaughtering in the name of... Welcome on in, Quads. Glad you can catch us live.
What's up,
Gur
Black
says,
man?
only thing I found strange, shouldn't time to kill on Ashes be around 30 to 60 minutes? You mean seconds. Now it's around 15 to 30. That is the only issue I'm having with the game at this moment, but I don't know if I'm correct with that statement.
Hey, we're not playing ESO. We're not playing ESO.
Right. Yeah, I'm not even honest. I'll be honest. Steven can say what he wants. I know it's his game. I take his opinion and trust on like virtually everything, literally everything. I mean, he knows a lot more than I do, right? But when it comes to things like saying what time to kill is, I know they can do the internal testing, internal PvP, but time to kill is going to be something I'm going to have to see to believe. That's when I'm going to judge and worry like, okay, I'm dying too fast, or oh my gosh, I feel like I'm playing ESO again. No one's dying. Healing's overpowered. Too many heals over time stacking and blah, blah, blah. I'm not even like in that realm of like that frame of thought, really.
Yeah, my perspective on that entire thing is I'd rather it be gank friendly and everybody dies than it be too tanky. And so if you're going to err on one side, I'd rather have it be that. But yeah, you want a good amount of time to kill, especially in a group based game, where you're going to get focused. Like you want to be able to input things before you just get nuked by 1 or 2 people. So I get that too.
Weird tangent from that, especially in a tab target game. How about that?
Yep, absolutely.
I think time to kill needs to be kill power needs to really be, it's very important in a tab target game where everyone can click the same guy and their freaking projectiles auto hone to that guy. Yes, you have stats like evasion chance and accuracy, but when you can just click somebody like, all right, focus out, blah blah blah, and then everybody click 3 2 1, boom, like we saw with the snipe. I mean, that was more of an ambush plan, but you guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like and apparently I didn't know this, chat, so feel free to laugh at me. I didn't play every MMO in the world. I'm not 45 years old like most of you, but I didn't know it was super common in especially tab target games for for there to be a command where you auto target who your group leader is targeting. So like I was playing Throne and Liberty, and there's I think by default it was T when I was playing, but if you're in a group with someone, you can click T, and you'll automatically target the person that the group leaders target. Yes. Assist, yes, target assist. That whole thing. I did not know that was a thing. And so it just got me thinking about single target damage and just picking people out of the group one by one and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that is gross. So then I started thinking, like, man, that evasion stat is gonna be very important. Like, oh
Mhm.
man, group play is gonna be so different. Large scale combat is gonna be very different than what I'm used to. Because I don't know if Guild Wars 2 has that. I never did large scale warfare in Guild Wars 2. I just did like the arena thing, and then I just pretty much did questing open world. I loved it. I never got in a hardcore group where everyone's trying to target. So I don't know if it's in Guild Wars 2, but I did not realize that was a common thing. And so yeah, I'm just picturing everybody aiming at the same guy and just taking them out before they have a chance to respond.
Yeah, and I know Lineker brought that up in a post when that was happening, and he was basically showing like, hey, in this game, if the time to kill is where it's at, you're gonna have 2 to 3 rangers that can basically nuke anybody off of 2 skills, and that's going to be problematic. And so he was advocating for it being higher time to kill, which I get. It's tough because it's funny because we've had this conversation, Nice, and I've always brought up the point that the best way to balance this game is to evaluate time to kill from like a 1v1 perspective and make sure you're rock paper scissors, like you're eliminating more variables, right? And so I get comments from the community, and they're like, no, this is a group based game. You want to rally it around group based combatives, like you wanted a group based scenario. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the problem with that is you have too many variables in that point of view. And that's why I've always advocated for single target. But then you see people post about how 3 people can take out 1, and they're not taking into account the healers that they're supposed to have in their group and the amount of defense. And you look at it and you're like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you're not taking in like both variables. And so I agree that potentially this could be too high, but at the same time, with that point of view that Lineker was bringing up, you're supposed to be in a group also. And so you should have a healer there that should be able to top you off and help support you in some ways. And so that's where it's tough, because it's like, we're not going to know time to kill until we get to Alpha 2.
Catching up with the voices of Vera here. Do you think the level cap being 50 is a strategic move to hold off until expansions and then raise the level cap each expansion? 50 seems like such a low number for max level. We don't know what low is. We don't know how much XP and time. I know Steven's talked about how long it's going to take someone to get the max level and stuff like that, but who knows? Maybe 50, your 50 in one game is not the same 50 as another game. It really depends on how they stretch that out. I saw this conversation about level caps early. I don't know if it was in a forum post or what, or maybe it was in Discord, but people were it might have just been on the forums. I was just looking at people talking about level cap increases.
I will say with this, this is my perspective on it, guys, and like this is I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. Because this is a sandbox MMO, like your end game, like where your character is level wise, isn't the biggest part of where this game is going to be. Like, everything that happens in the game is you're going to have up and down, backwards and forwards, like progression from where your character is. Maybe you pissed off the wrong group of people and now they're killing you nonstop. So now you're going to experience debt to your character, and you're going to have to work on getting gold to repair your gear to get that back. So you've now taken a step back because you pissed off the wrong people, or whatever reason you're involved in a war and like you're getting destroyed. And so your overall character level is only one aspect of what's going to happen in the game. And so and I find myself doing the exact same thing. A lot of theme park MMOs, we have a beginning and an end. There is no end in Ashes of Creation once we get to endgame. You're going to have your really good days, you're gonna have your good weeks, and you're gonna have your bad weeks. You're gonna have your setbacks where your node gets destroyed. You're gonna have setbacks where you get killed by people. You're gonna have setbacks where your caravans get destroyed. And these sorts of things are where you're going to have your 2 to 3 days back perspective. And so my biggest point that I want to drive home, I guess, is I wouldn't worry too much about like what the end game level cap is, because where you're going to be in the game, like, it's just going to change on a week to week basis. And that's going to be the biggest part that's going to keep you in the game, in my opinion.
Yes. I wouldn't put too much emphasis on leveling and all that. I for one hope they don't raise the level cap. It makes content get outdated, and that's just You know,
Then you have to
I
scale
know how to.
NPCs.
Yeah, like I know the nodes are technically responsible for like, the level of mobs in that area, et cetera, et cetera. But I'd rather them, if there's gonna be an expansion, you just keep the same level cap. And maybe you just make the mobs go over that level. Like, so if 50 is the cap, you got some, and I think Steven spoke on this before. There's gonna be some mobs that are over level 50. So like content, you'll always be able to have relevant content, especially if they do an expansion where it's a new island, a new continent, whatever. You go through a portal to, maybe you're on Sanctus again. You never know what they can do, but I hope the level cap doesn't always have to change with an expansion.
Yep.
So yeah. If you want a dueling game, play Mortal Kombat. I think there's perspective with taking feedback from a 1v1 and from a group gameplay. But yeah, the map is 2/3. Yes, 2/3.
Yeah, that
Um,
the dueling thing that I'm bringing up, it's not about this game being balanced around dueling. It's, and so a point that I brought up in the live stream as well is this is a rock paper scissors game, right? So you have your rock, you have your paper, you have your scissors, you have hard counters. And so what I'm saying from evaluating things from a 1v1 perspective is, let's say nice, you're paper, right? And I'm scissors. Okay, I have a scissors class, I have a ranger, and you have a mage. Okay, and I hard counter the shit out of you. Well, if mage is so strong to where you're beating me, that is an issue that you can evaluate from that perspective. Like, hey, why is the hard counter not countering enough? Is the ranger too weak, or is the mage too strong? And so then you can look at it, you can evaluate these classes in a vacuum, and you can look specifically at these two things like, hey, this is supposed to hard counter. This class is supposed to be better, and it's not. Why is that? And so instead of evaluating from a group v group situation like, oh, it's the healing or this, and you have all these other variables in play, you can evaluate in a vacuum of these two things and then apply it to the group-based game. It has nothing to do with 1v1s. It has nothing to do like if I want to play a dueling game, I'm going to play Elden Ring. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just easier to test and balance things in a vacuum without more variables, which was my point.
Yes, I completely agree. You and I both test builds, so we know that we know that one for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, like if we don't have that 1v1 comparison, then the rock paper scissors system almost means nothing. You need to make sure that that 1v1 scenario works as intended, and then move to the group scope. You need to make sure that the fighters abilities that or mechanic that adds reduction of healing works on the cleric.
Exactly.
So that or else the group play is thrown off, because like, yes, clerics are gonna be really powerful for groups to keep them alive, et cetera, provide heals over times and all that, but you got to make sure that the fighter's heals are defiling or reducing the healing of the cleric enough. You need to make sure that the cleric can just never die to a tank, because the tank doesn't have enough damage, it just heals through it. You need to make sure that the range is physical range damage counters the mage, because they're in cloth armor, and that's just physical damage piercing through that cloth. You need
Exactly.
It's and you can just keep going, and then when you add more variables, you can be like, okay, well, this needs to be toned back, et cetera. How you doing, Demon Hunter? Welcome on in. And yeah, the CP system of ESO was a good example. Phantom says, I would rather see a character develop through skill use. Yes. A lot of games introduce post max level systems to in lieu of just raising the level cap. We see this Diablos 4, is it the champion system? Is that what it was called? We saw this in ESO with the champion point system.
Yep.
We saw what's another example? I can't think of more right now, but yeah, Akira,
Artifacts, mythics, like different gear new gear
introduction. Yeah, that's another way. Yeah.
Yep.
Gear cap and gear score. Some games go that Guild Wars 2 Masteries. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically introducing a whole nother and Ashes of Creation, that would be like introducing a new augment series, a new religion.
Yep.
There's so much they can do with like lore. Let's say, the game's been out for a while, you want to spice things up. Well, this new social organization or religion comes from Sanctus, and like, hey, serve us. And if you serve us, you get these augments, which are comparable to the augments that are already in the game, the religious augments that's already in the game. You can do so much with DLC without just straight up like raising the level cap, especially with the way they got things supposedly laid out with this augment system. I think that would be a really good way to look at things without just saying, oh, now you can go up to 55.
Yeah, another interesting thing that I'm just spitballing here, nice, because yeah, this will be fun to talk about later. But like when you look at Halo, the first Halo game, like they had their elites, right, and then they introduced brutes later, and they had an entire different racial skill line. It's very possible that Intrepid down the line they have their lore set up in a way to where like a new race comes in, like maybe they have the Elders or something, like something like that, where all of a sudden now you have an entire new racial line or a new race that you can play with their own augments within that specific thing and things that they know, where they introduce new skills. And so they can introduce things without increasing what already exists. It's just adding more spice, basically, what
Yes.
British people don't do to their food. So
Ooh.
I had to.
Yes. Yes, they're gonna get really salty about that one. Oh man. So let's close this out with I got one more well, we could probably do two more, but I got
Okay.
image here um that I want to pull up. It's the one comment under my video, the video I did titled MMOs Need More Difficulty. Here we go.
Okay, you want that YouTube one or you want the Discord one?
YouTube one.
Okay.
It says comment on MMO difficulty problem.
Okay.
Demon Hunter says, I think AOC expansions are going to look like go and grind new gear in a new dungeon without raising level cap if the dungeons are already difficult. Yeah, I could see that. And that is a great tangent to what we're about to talk about, difficulty. So I did this video recently titled MMO difficulty problem ashes of creation. And where, my impressions from the commission stream was that, hey, we might finally have a MMO with difficult open world content. Like this could be the one. Like we're
Yep.
really early on, but like, wow, Steven can actually die. Like, he looked pressured with just 3 mobs, and normal games, that's just like you just run around, you pull them all together, and you just AoE them down, and there's just like nothing. There's no challenge. You don't have to overthink about it. Your sustain, and something else that they showed is that mana sustain seemed to finally be a thing. Like he actually ran out of mana. Anyway, so I was just really impressed, and so that inspired this video. And I'm raving about, hey, this might solve the MMO difficulty problem. And I was just talking about the MMO difficulty problem overall. And then this guy, which is interesting, he commented saying this game is going to be an epic fail. Just look at the mess on screen. And where is the challenge when you literally AoE and 4-shot mobs packs by packs with no threat? So I just found the human psyche, how all of us have different perspectives in the world. I love seeing new perspectives. For me to look at the same material of work and get that perspective, like, oh my gosh, look at the difficulty. I like that there's a challenge. And for him to look at the same footage that I looked at and was like, wow, where's the challenge? You could just AoE and 4-shot mobs. Like, is that not crazy?
Yeah, I did a live stream after like initial react, and I think I'm gonna put words in Galwood's mouth, but I think it was Galwood that said that Steven during the live stream was like level 16, and a lot of the mobs he was facing were level 11. And the minute he came across a mob that was close to his level, that's when he was taking like a shit ton of damage. And so I didn't notice that during the live stream. I was just too busy watching like the different animations and stuff personally. But yeah, that's why when you showed this to me, I was like, oh, I guess he didn't notice that part. Like these mobs are under leveled, and Steven was still having like a relatively difficult time. And so yeah, I don't know. I agree. I'm with you on this.
Yeah, I don't know how someone came away from that stream with and don't get me wrong, I know it's easy to be on a high horse like, if you don't agree with me, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like
No.
my perspective is right, but it's like, how did you get that? So, and I'm not saying he's just straight up wrong, chat. Someone else out there probably agrees with him, right?
Yep.
But it's crazy to me, like, wow, like that's interesting. Fano says it's also Steven, so that's
yeah, there's that too.
That's fair.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, don't let Steven hear that, Phantom. That we actually looked at that, I think, last stream where Steven responded to that guy on Reddit like, dude, I'm not trying to show off, I'm trying to show things,
Yeah.
But yeah, Fighter is this month's stream, Demon Hunter. That will be the Fighter showcase. Matter of fact, I need to look at a calendar. I'm sure we got one episode before the yeah, I'm gonna pull up the calendar on my
27th.
phone.
Yeah, 27th will be next week.
Okay, so 27th. So, and then the stream, I would assume they do it on the 20. Yeah, they'll definitely stretch it out to the 29th. Maybe we'll figure it out off stream and then announce it to you guys, but maybe we don't do the 27th and try to do something that Friday or something like that. Because we typically, like, if it's like 5 days or 4 days before stream, then we're like, go ahead and do another episode. But doing one right before the Fighter stream, I'd rather the next time we just talk about the Fighter and what we saw. But we'll figure that out, chat. Or maybe we do something with a guest. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
There's another thing to bring up too, Nice, just briefly. I was thinking about doing this for April 1st, but April 1st is officially when we're in quarter 2.
Oh.
So we're close to being 1 quarter away from an Alpha 2 release. I'm just saying, like we're almost in quarter 2. It's right around the corner. So it's
almost
pretty cool.
In quarter 2. Ooh, spot testing about to happen. Character creator is going to be happening soon. I did not leak that. I am under it. What? Anyways, yeah, so I'm sure we're getting spot testing supposedly and character creator upcoming. So that'll be cool. So we won't have to wait till quarter 3 for everything, Some people will be getting their hands on spot testing and all that extra stuff. But yeah, clickbait April 1st, yeah. But I think that's gonna be cool, especially PI members, especially they're gonna get their hands on the game again and be able to get some stuff in. Alpha 1 spot testing. I'm also hoping or expecting rather to see the character creator program get rolled out. What else? I'm sure Intrepid has a lot of things down the line. I think it's going to be crazy. Yeah, definitely Hellstalker. I think it's going to be interesting to see because what I predict is that they are going to ramp up. Not next month, maybe not even the month after that. But I think how we're like starving for content. We don't get nothing for a whole month. There's like, maybe you hope for a Steven leak. I think out of nowhere, it's going to get overwhelming. I think out of nowhere, it's going to get real quick. And I want to go to a comment earlier. Who said it? I think it was Squirrel. I'm sorry. Here, let me there it is. Squirrel Lover 69. What a name.
That is a great name.
It's funny. I've been seeing his comments throughout the stream, but I never like read his whole name. I saw a picture of a squirrel. I read squirrel, but this is the first time I read the whole thing. But anyways, Squirrel Lover said something fun. He said, Hope Ashes is a main go-to game we can count on playing for at least 5 to 10 years. Dude, I hope that even longer. I hope this is my World of Warcraft. How that's, lasting 20 years. People have been playing since day one and seen so many expansions, so many content, seen the game be in so many different ways. Yes, your retirement game, like Phantom said. Yeah. I hope that is my game. And I know this is a little I was asked this question one stream. It was asked to Elsa and I, like when Ashes of Creation comes out, will we be getting like where would I know when Ashes, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, but I know Ashes of Creation, once Alpha 2 is out or even close, I'm going hardcore on Ashes. Like I don't have to play anything else. Like there's like a fun release, maybe especially a non-MMO, I'll definitely give it some attention, but I'm like all in. Like when I'm able to play this game and not just talk about it, I want to be full-time Ashes. Like I want that to be the focus. Until then, I'm gonna be doing some ESO. I want to, maybe we touch New World again. I want to if Throne and Liberty gets out, I don't know if you guys saw my Throne and Liberty review. There was a lot of cons there that I mentioned. I made sure I was transparent. But I enjoyed the gameplay. I did enjoy the gameplay. When it comes out to the West, I will definitely try to ride that to buy time until Alpha 2. And I think that's what it's going to be for a lot of people. Something temporary, hold you down. Who knows what AGS does with it? Hopefully they do it as well as they did New World. What? Anyways, I'm looking forward to, but all jokes aside, I am looking forward to Throne and Liberty. That'll probably rot us, but yeah, I I am so excited. I hope it is our main go-to game, and I think it's shaping up to be that.
Yeah, where I'm sitting now is with how New World is releasing, and until they come out with new content, I'm like, that's on the back burner for me. I have no
Oh
interest
yeah.
until then. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not playing much New World, which is fine. If Throne and Liberty comes out, cool. But for me right now, I'm playing Helldivers, and when Elden Ring releases their DLC in June, I'll be playing that a shit ton. I'm
I
really
forgot Elden Ring, yeah.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And then Throne and Liberty, hopefully, and when Ashes comes out, I'll be playing that until I get bored, and I can't see myself getting bored anytime soon. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Rage says, "What's up, nice dog?" And the other guy.
And the other guy, wow. Okay, Rage. Okay, the next time we play Among Us, you just know you know what's up. Okay.
He's already sus. You know, we haven't done an Among Us night in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. We should do an Among Us night again. It'd be fun.
I
Maybe we could
would
do an
love that.
Among Us Voices of Vera edition.
Ooh. I bet we could make it really fun. Like whoever, like if the imposter gets, whoever loses as imposter has to, I don't know. We'll figure out a challenge. They got to
Sure.
give a wild take, or they got to role play as something, or they got to read some, dude. They got to read some AI generated horrible AOC lore. Like some cringy lore. Reading cringy lore sounds hilarious. I bet there's a program or an AI generator that can make cringy lore.
Remember, I don't know if you remember this, but the last time we played, I got imposter like 6 times in a row.
Yes.
It was something ridiculous. I think I won like 3 or 4, and it was only because people were like, there's no way else is imposter again.
Yeah, like surely statistically he's not the imposter.
There's no way.
Ashes man, that'd be funny. Basket, yes. Game streams every day. Yeah, 100% AOC will be the game. AC, thank you so much for being here. Shout out to AC, by the way, and Akira, same person, in chat. Very first channel member. Thank you so much for being here. Got a role play as Kirk. We need another Among Us night. Yeah, let's figure that out. AOC Red Light District lore. Yes, let's do it. Wow, are they really gonna do a WoW battle royale? I would definitely do it Among Us night. That would be fun. I want some stakes to it though. But yeah. We got Elden Ring, hopefully Throne and Liberty. I think those are the only 2 things on my radar to hold me off until Ashes. I'll probably do some ESO. But I really just I want to do some Elden Ring. I really been loving me some Elden Ring.
Yeah, did you see the anti-cheat stuff? That's the only reason I'm taking a small break from it right now.
So anti-cheat came out and said what you expected them to say, that it's not on their end, blah blah blah. But apparently that was disproven. So I'm like,
yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm just gonna wait a couple days and see.
Some Last Epoch, not Last Epoch. I don't really want to jump into that. Though I'm sure it's really good. I've seen some good reviews, but I will say this: Path of Exile 2. I don't know what the release date is on that, but that was one that was on my radar. That one looked really fun. Like it looked really intricate, but I don't know. It looks probably so fun that I'll probably just drop everything. So I don't know. I think I'll be, honestly, you guys, I think I'll be satisfied with just some Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, and Throne of Liberty for you. That's probably Elsa's list too.
Yep. Oh, I got to finish Baldur's Gate. Thank you. I still have to finish it. I only have 1 more quarter to get this done after next week.
Elden Ring will be fun. I might do a little Invasion compilation or something soon. Get some Elden Ring content out there. I miss Elden Ring content, but yeah. What's up? Welcome on in, Amir. Right at the end. We will call it here. Once again, thank you for everyone being here. And thank you, Golden Feather Tavern, for the raid. Really appreciate you guys and everybody that came from over there. Really
thank you for the $5, AC. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out.
Do we have anyone to raid into? Let me see. I don't know if anyone else is in the AOC category, but
yeah, I got to finish BG3. Thank you. Droog plays.
Droog, yeah. I see Droog.
Let's rate him. I don't know who that is.
Jamie.
but let's do that. Oh,
Yeah,
Jamie. Oh, Jamie's doing Helldivers.
Let's see. I think that's the only one.
Rorier is doing Ashes of Creation as well.
Why can't I see him? Is he not on this?
He's popped up on mine. It's I am Rorier.
Okay, here.
We could rate him.
Yes, here, let me make sure. Yeah, I think let's do that. Let's do Warrior. I don't think we've rated Warrior before. I don't think he's been live with us.
Yeah, no, we haven't. All right. Well, yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for hanging out to chat. Thanks for yelling at us. We'll see you in 7 days, I guess.
Yes. I don't have Warrior's Twitch. That's why I don't see him. Here, let me find him. I only have him on YouTube.
Okay, I can send it to you.
Yes, this has been a good one. Yes, thank you guys so much for being here. Just starting Act 2, life's busy. Baldur's Gate.
So
you guys might get me to play that one day. It looks so good. I like watching it.
Dark and darker, but it's so much better, dude.
Yes, peace. Oh yeah. Oh, AC, thank you for the $5 donation.
If you want to do a duo playthrough, I wouldn't be against it either. Or I could just jump in and we could just play. Like, because you can have people jump into your party whenever you want as well and do the storyline.
Yeah.
It's worth doing. Cool. It's a good game.
Here, we're gonna here, let's do this. Thank you so much again for that donation, AC. Here, let's do this. Let me do the raid and then let's see. Sorry, you guys. I suck at this.
You're good.
And there it is. Okay. Start raid. Boom. Thank you guys so much. It should be starting in 3, 2, 1, 0. Buying time. And there it is.
See you guys.
Nice. All right. See ya.
Oh my god. Oh, you walked into it, you bitch.
All right.
All right. I think I'm good. Let me make sure the raid went through.